Hi, everyone. This is Charles Hoskinson broadcasting live from beautiful and coastal Santa Barbara. Today is August 14th, 2022, and I am here at Crypto. Crypto is an annual conference that's been going on for quite some time, I think now 3-4 decades, at University of California, Santa Barbara. And it's the largest and most prominent cryptography conference in the entire world. Contending with Eurocrypt and the rest of the gang, at least for IACR events. So we have a long history as a company attending this event because this is actually the first event that we rolled out Ouroboros, the original Ouroboros protocol, Ouroboros Classic, back in 2017. And actually we're here to talk about useful proof of work alongside some other interesting advancements that the team has been slowly but surely chipping away at. So it's one of my favorite events to attend, and like many things in life that are events that are physical, it was taken away by COVID, and I believe it was remote for a little while, and this is the first time I've had a chance to attend post-COVID. Previously, I was just at Defcon. Defcon is one of those events that everybody talks about. It's one of the largest aggregations of hackers, black hats, white hats, and everything in between in the entire world, and usually held, I think, in Las Vegas. This time around, it was a kind of a strange event. It was split between Caesars Forum, Blink, and the Flamingo, and they just had a bizarre mask mandate, which didn't make a lot of sense. I know some of you, well, everybody listening at this point has made up their opinion on the matter. I have too. There's really no science behind any of these things. The CDC doesn't recommend it. So you say trust the experts don't request it. The State Health Department of Nevada doesn't request it. Every casino and play and Circus Olay and all these things densely packed 60,000 people. The Las Vegas Raiders games don't require it. But I guess the conference organizers of DEF CON know more about epidemiology than the Centers for Disease Control or all the state people. And security theater all around. A disease more contagious than measles is apparently going to be thwarted by a cloth mask. Okay. But thank you, Twitter warriors, for all your magical knowledge about these things. But, that aside, and the meanness behind some of the organizers about it, I was kind of hoping for a conference that was a little bit better put together. It was quite chaotic and hard to navigate and hard to know what was going on where. Badges were really cool, and there were some interesting presentations. Unfortunately, a lot of them were phoned in. There were some people presenting in person, but a lot of presentations were remote. So I wasn't too turned on or happy about the event. I really like CTRSA and some of these other InfoSec events. So maybe better luck next year with DEF CON. I don't know. Physical events are still a little challenging these days. In the post-COVID era, nobody knows what to do or how to behave, and there's a myriad of opinions. And I guess everybody's just trying to get back into the swing of things. That said, I do attend these things because I'm always interested in information security, the latest and greatest in physical security, hardware-based security, software security, these types of things, as well as the practical implications of what we do. Crypto is a theoretical conference mostly. When you go to it, it's a lot of math. It's a very involved thing. And there's people talking about the nuances of multi-party computation and the latest post-quantum algorithm and, having ideas about how to use lattice-based crypto for zero-knowledge proofs. And these types of things are quite deep. Information security is where the rubber hits the road, where you take this type of knowledge and you try to make it practical in one way or another. And you try to figure out how do you, in some form or fashion, get things to work in real life use cases, meaning on your phone, make it work on your laptop. And so we're obviously quite interested because at the end of the day, when you look at a cryptocurrency, it goes all the way from the deep theory to formal specifications to actual implementation to actually running with human beings who are subject to social engineering and other factors which can make things fail fast and often. So it's good to have a mixture of conferences of the black hat, white hat, everyday information security, to the theoretical, where you actually get to talk about the math and science behind the art of cryptography and the science of cryptography. So these are events I look forward to, and I'm glad I'm here in Santa Barbara to actually hang out and talk with some of the elite cryptographers and see what they're thinking about. Later in the month, I'll be at Stanford for the opening of our lab at Stanford, which involves it's a cryptocurrency and cryptography lab for DeFi protocols and for all kinds of different cryptocurrency areas like consensus and so forth. And we'll have more to say at the end of the month about that. But I believe the opening is going to occur August 29th. And we've been working real hard putting those pieces together. So I'll be in California more than once, kind of traveling all around these days. Vasil's looking good. It's kind of funny when I go to all these events, people seem to think on the internet that everything just gets put on hold and nobody's working. It's as if the 700 people in the company just go on vacation or something like that. Turns out when you have an organization with a group of people, people do things in parallel. Go figure. So 135.3 is out, and that's probably going to be the node, unless something is discovered, that the Hardfork Combinator event is pushed for. So it's being rapidly adopted and tested and played around with by the community. And there was a mid-month update that was done, and things are looking pretty good. As mentioned, Vasil was one of the hardest and just most involved updates because it touched a lot of different things. There were a lot of new features. There was a strict adherence to the SIP process. There were consensus-related upgrades and a lot of upgrades related to Plutus with actual apps deployed. And more than 200 exchanges have to upgrade. And believe it or not, Twitter, I know you don't think that there's any dApps on Cardano, but there's actually a lot of code that's been deployed. And because of that, you had to make sure everything was backwards compatible and things were working properly. So we worked through it as an ecosystem, and I'm pretty happy with 135.3. I think it's looking good. And our testers are pretty happy with it as well. No SEP 1, 2, or 3 issues have been discovered that would derail the process. And there's certainly a lot of hard work and tender love and care that went into this release. So we're in the weeds of it, and people are moving pretty quickly. But August is a productive month, as will be September. And I'm pretty excited and happy that so many people put so much effort into what's coming. So the science continues, the engineering continues, the information security continues. It's easy to get lost in the forest and not really understand the broader implications and themes of things. But the ship is steady, and that's what a cryptocurrency should be, and that's what a blockchain ecosystem should be. A lot of challenges. The weaponization of Tornado Cash, for example, where DeFi people are being sent a small amount of it, and apparently it's blacklisting their entire account. That lack of de minimis for these types of sanctions is an unintended weaponization of that, and it's very problematic. There's certainly a lot of politics going on right now that are preventing good legislation from working its way through. Brighter minds are working hard at that. And, the economy is still shaky. A lot of people are hurting out there, and it's tough. But that said, brighter days are ahead. I firmly believe that, and it's good to come to these types of conferences because you see that, you see the work, you see the brilliance, you see how much progress has been made. The kinds of things we were talking about in 2017 were much more primitive than the kinds of things we talk about in 2022. And the level of interest and progress is still pretty remarkable. So while you see and experience things that are pretty sad at times, like the security theater I saw at Defcon, on the other hand, you see that people are moving forward and getting things done. This ecosystem has grown tremendously, and crypto is strong, fundamentally strong. So hang in there, everybody. And it's Going to be fun to see what they got here at Crypto and all the cool presentations that are coming. And it's going to be fun to see some old friends, some new faces. It's always cool because you have another wave of graduate students and postdocs every year, and you get to meet them and get to know them, and they grow up. And then 5 years later, they end up being some tenure track with students of their own. You say, "Well, I remember you when you were in grad school." So it's pretty cool to grow up with all of them and kind of see that. And the drum keeps being beaten. We keep marching forward. So I'll give you guys an update soon on various things. In any event, if you are curious about proof of useful work, we're going to do some filming here and talk about it, record it, and it's going to be cool to hang out with all of our scientists. We have another summit on input endorsers that we're holding right on the back of this. It's the second one, and it's rapidly converging to a final design, which we're pretty excited about as well. I think we have come out with something remarkable and special, and it's built with the unique things in Cardano like Mithril and extended UTXO and the principles-based design that we have. So hopefully we'll be able to make some news about that as well. Cheers.